Woo! Alright, y'all, we back. It's your boy, the Big Head Dude. And as always, man, if you're watching these videos, I appreciate the support. It's not just about me, but it's about trying to put like some awareness on addiction. You know what I mean? Some awareness on recovery as well. But you guys are gonna get used to me saying this. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, click that notification bell. That way, when I post a video and get some spoken word up in here, you guys will be notified about it. I'm excited about this interview. I'm excited about all the interviews I do, but I'm particularly excited about this one. And shit, we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. What's your name, sir?
My name is Elliot.
Elliot?
Yeah.
Where you from, Elliot?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, man.
Chicago, Illinois.
Chirac, man.
You a long way from home.
Yeah, that I am.
Did you grow up out there?
Yeah, born and raised, man. I've been living out here in Arizona since beginning of 2020.
The beginning of 2020.
Other than that, it's been Chicago all day.
What was it like growing up in Chicago? Is it like how we see on the media and everything today?
Nowadays it's like that, man. But growing up, I'm 36 years old, so growing up at times was different. It was a bit more structured. There wasn't a bunch of teens running the streets, man. Growing up when you was a teenager or you was high school age or grade school age, the OGs didn't allow you to run they whoop your ass and take you home to your mama type stuff. You know what I mean? You couldn't just you definitely couldn't own a gun. You wouldn't even have access to a gun. You couldn't sell weed as a teenager on the block. Like I said, they would whoop your ass, take you home to your mama or your daddy, But now Chicago is much like you see on TV: lawlessness, snatching grabs, 100 people on one block, gangbanging, high schoolers shooting each other. It's just like no peace, man. No peace. So that's kind of what prompted me to move out here, man. It's just I needed some space and opportunity,
You wanted to get away from that?
Yeah, definitely wanted to get away from that.
So you in particular, what was it like growing up in Chicago?
For me, it was kind of rough. You know what I mean? I was smaller, so I was kind of picked on a lot. I had to fight a lot. Like I said, I was picked on a lot. I had to fight a lot. I had to stand my ground. You know what I mean? I didn't have my father in my life. My mother worked a lot, so we were really poor. We stayed in Chicago Housing Authority. Projects.
That's what that is. The Chicago Housing Authority or the projects.
Yeah, the Housing Authority. Yeah, that's the project. That's the various housing projects throughout the city. I stayed on the north side in the Uptown neighborhood. Yeah, and it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough in the Uptown neighborhood in the 90s. It was a wave of violence in the 90s, much like you see today. It wasn't a whole lot of young people. It wasn't a whole lot of young teens out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
How are you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Good. Sorry about that interruption, y'all. We doing this raw, real, and uncut, But yeah, back to it. So you were letting me know what it was like for you growing up, and you stated that your dad wasn't around. Mom's was always at work. You were growing up in the projects. What was your household like?
I had
No, you said that you guys grew up poor, but what was it like inside the home?
It was poor inside the home. We had one TV. We didn't have cable. I remember back in the day when you didn't have cable, you can switch on the channel and the cable channels would appear and they'd be like these squiggly lines and you can hear it.
Yeah.
And I remember me and my sisters, we'd be sitting there watching the squiggly lines, wishing that we can watch the cable programs and things like that.
Listening to the programs,
Yeah.
can't watch them though.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. When moms was around, was mom supportive? Was mom loving?
Oh yeah, mom's was the shit, man. When moms was around, she did all she can. She did all she can. Everything she did was for us, you know. She would get us food from the local restaurants. You know, Chicago has some pretty good restaurants. She would make sure that whatever money she had, that it went towards us, or you know, or towards the bill. She was a single mother, and it was 5 of us, and most of the time in a two bedroom apartment. And yeah, so we used to when we can, we got restaurant food, and but most of the time we were on food stamps, and we would shop at the local Aldi's and stuff. We grew up on fried Polishes and noodles and all that type of stuff. And yeah, and when mom was around, and she wasn't tired from working, she would sit out and she would cook for us and things like that, and braid my sister's hair. She went to school for cosmetology, so she did my hair. She did my hair in finger waves. She did my hair in braids. She braided my sister's hair and things like that. And that was pretty much it, you know.
What was the relationship like with your siblings?
We was all cool, man. We was all cool. We all went to the same school, so we was really close. My sisters had it a lot tougher. They didn't ever was able to run the streets kind of like how the boys was able to. One of my brothers, he was more of a recluse than my other brother. The oldest brother, he ran with the crew that was a little bit further north. It wasn't in the uptown neighborhood. It was more north towards Evanston, like Loyola neighborhood. Him and a couple cats. He had his little crew, you know. They ran around. They played cards. They did their thing. I believe the name of the crew was the Dreamers. They was part of some agency where they worked with the local kids, and they played basketball, took them to tournaments, and the people that he met in there, he kind of like bonded with, and those were his friends throughout the years. So yeah, sometimes they came around and we all kicked it, and sometimes we even drank. You know what I mean? That was the first drug I did was alcohol.
So when you say the boys were able to run the streets, were you out running the streets a lot?
Oh yeah, I ran the streets 24/7. I didn't come home till it was time for my mama to come home, because I knew if I wasn't home, she would have whooped my ass. But yeah, as soon as I got out of school, I was always off. I knew I was different because I was always venturing off into like different neighborhoods, like out of the projects. I would go to like the Greek neighborhood, or I'd go downtown, or I'd just be somewhere where I had no business being, you know what I mean? And a lot of the things that I did was stealing or vandalizing, you know what I mean?
I was just gonna ask, what type of stuff were you getting into? Stealing and vandalizing stuff?
Yeah, I would go downtown to FAO Schwartz, which is a giant toy store chain, and I would steal these packs of Pokemon cards. And in the 90s, these Pokemon cards were really expensive. So by me stealing these Pokemon cards, I was able to take them back to the neighborhood and sell them for $40, $20, and I would make $400 or $500 off these Pokemon cards.
At what age was this?
I was about age 12, so about 20 years ago. So this was about 95-ish. Well, more like 1998-ish.
Making $400 or $500 off Pokemon cards?
Yeah. There was a Pokemon wave. Like it was one point, I believe one kid was killed over one Pokemon card.
Damn.
Yeah, they were really expensive. They were like some of the cards. I remember the holographic Charizard card was worth $200 at one point.
So you stated that your first mind-changing substance was alcohol?
Yeah, it was alcohol.
At what age was that?
I'd say about 6th grade, so about 12, 13, something around there.
And what was that experience like? How did it make you feel?
It was gratifying for me because, you know what, I was the one supplying the alcohol. We had a grocery store on the north side called Dominic's. It's since shuttered. The stores just went bankrupt. It's been replaced by a chain called Mariano's. But they had a liquor aisle like most grocery stores, and at the time I didn't know what it was. I knew that it was alcohol. I knew that it was some type of vodka, but it was Belvedere vodka, which I later learned was like a name brand vodka. But the only reason I took the vodka was because the bottle was skinny, and I was able to take the bottle and put it in the sleeve of my coat. And being as though I was 5 foot, a 90-pound, little kid, they did not suspect that I had a fifth of Belvedere in the sleeve of my coat. That I even knew what Belvedere was.
And you would take it back and get the party going, or was this like another avenue of making money for you?
No, I would definitely take it back and get the party going. My brother and his crew that I told you about, they'd probably be at the apartment, and my sister would be, back then it was 20 people could be on one bottle. So we had a bunch of people around, and I'd take a couple shots, and what I did was I'd just get blackout drunk off a couple shots, and I'd like run my head into the wall until, that was a game we played, like we got drunk and then run your head into the wall until you pass out. And yeah.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
That's what we used to do, man.
So did alcohol become like, did you gather like an alcoholic addiction, would you say, or no?
Yeah, I think I did. I think deep down inside, like, being as though I was young and I was drinking that potent liquor, I got a taste for it. I got an addiction for it. I may not have been able to get it every day, but I got my first taste of addiction through alcohol.
So from alcohol, where did it go then?
From alcohol, it went to marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't able to get marijuana in the city because the older cats who did have the marijuana, they weren't really up, they weren't given, it's not like how it is now. So there was no way someone who was 12 or 13 years old could get marijuana when I was growing up. So what ended up happening was we had some cousins that lived in Aurora, which is a suburb of Chicago, and they had some white boys who lived next door to them, who were some stoners. These were the original stoners, you know what I mean? The first, and their name was Brandon and Brian. And what he had was a device. It was 2 medicine bottles put together into a makeshift bowl, and we called it the Green Goblin. And he would get me, my brother, my sisters, like we would all go out there. Me and my siblings would all go out there for the summer, and he would get all of us high. We'd sit in his basement and smoke all summer, man. Those was the days. But yeah, I definitely got a stronger taste of addiction from using marijuana in the suburbs.
So let's fast forward a little bit. You said that you came out here in 2020, just like to get away. What caused you to want to get away? Was there any like particular incident or anything?
Yeah, it was just like a particular series of events. Like, I'm 34 years old. I can't get right. I'm going to the local temp office trying to get a job. It's so cold outside that the advisory for the weather says that you have 15 minutes to be outdoors before your extremities begin to freeze and frostbite kicks in, and the buses run every 20 minutes. So I'm no genius at math, but 15, 20, I mean, you're gonna freeze your ass off, man.
Before the bus comes.
Before the bus even comes. So that was like the final straw in me trying to like do the right thing as far as work a 9-to-5 job. So I took to the block. I was working up out of Bando, and it was a treacherous ass block on the west side of Chicago. On Sacramento and Lexington, I was working on a block, and that was my first time ever working on a block, and I'm 34 years old. Usually you see younger cats working packs on a block and stuff like that. And I started to like it, man. I was doing actually good. I was making about $400 or $500 a day, but the cost was too high. I was getting shot at. I was arrested twice for soliciting. I was shot at. I was chased down the alleys, money stole, giving fake money, just all type of treacherous stuff like going on. And
were you using around this time, or?
I think at this time I had at this time I had already experienced cocaine. I had experienced ecstasy a lot, I experienced all types of narcotic pills and things like that, but I haven't experienced some of the drugs that I did later on when I came to Arizona.
Right. And so I see that from like an early age, like you've been about your money, you've been like a hustler. Is that just from like just not having when you were younger or whatnot? Is that what like planted that seed that you was gonna get it?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I guess I wanted certain things. Maybe honestly right now to think about it, man, I don't think maybe I didn't love myself. You know what I mean? I was trying to compensate for something. I wasn't happy with just being me, so I felt like I had to do this, or I needed. I mean, people need money, but maybe I overcompensated in a way. You know.
What do you mean by didn't love yourself?
Like I said, I was picked on. I wasn't the sharpest. I wasn't always the sharpest guy in the room. I wasn't always the most tallest, the most handsome, the richest guy in the room. So I didn't for those reasons. I didn't exactly love myself. So I think that's kind of what was driven me towards some of the things that
that you did in life.
Yeah.
Damn, that's deep. That's real.
Yeah.
Caught me up on that one. That's deep. So, boom, leave Chicago. You land in Arizona. Was Tucson the first place you touched down at?
Yeah, Tucson was the first place I touched down at. I was in love, man. I had a couple packs of heroin from Chicago, a couple packs of weed, man. I stopped at the first Circle K and posted up like I was in the block in Chicago, man. I think I made $400 my first night, man, just pulling up to Circle K's, hopping out, and then saying I got dimes and 20 bags before they told me you can't do that out here.
Straight up. Man.
Yeah.
And so, just seeing how lucrative it is in Tucson. You said you fell in love, huh?
Yeah.
So, what did you have set up when you came out? I mean, did you know anybody?
The girl that I had been talking to, she's from Chicago. I knew her she's from the suburbs, and I knew her because she used to come on the block, and she messed with one of the other guys on the block and stuff. But they had broken up for a while, and while I was working on the block, I had befriended her, and I used to message her on Messenger while I was working on the block. So from the end of 2018 to September of 2019, when she came to Chicago, me and her had been messaging. Mm-hmm. She had been living out here already for about 5 or 6 years because her grandparents had a house out here and they passed away. Mm. And she came out here to take care of them in their dying days. And her mom and all of them just ended up moving out here. So she'd been living out here for a couple years already.
That's what's up. And so, you said you were trapping your first few days here. Yeah. Did you have anywhere to stay? What was that looking like?
Yeah, she had a older guy, a friend, who stayed in the Tucson house. I was running it up, so I was able to easily pay him whatever he wanted, $10, $20 a day, and a bag of weed every day. You know what I mean? And I had somewhere to stay. Wow, yeah, for the most part when I was here.
And what kind of environment was that? What was that situation like?
Oh, it was pretty positive. Like, he wasn't on any drugs or anything like that. That's not how I got introduced to drugs or anything. But yeah, it was definitely different though. There were people in the building who were doing drugs, but at the time I wasn't. I hadn't been introduced to any of the drugs that they did out here. So they didn't have cocaine, they didn't have ecstasy or lean or Xanax or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like,
So what progressed your drug use out here?
So me and the girl who's now my baby mama, we had ended up having a fight, and she kind of just left me, and I was just stuck out here. You know what I mean? And I had $90 in my pocket. And I had all my clothes in the bag, a pair of polo jeans and some white Air Force Ones, and I'm just sitting at the gas station on Drackman, and a white girl walks up to me. Lo and behold, just a young white girl walks up to me. Hey, she befriended me, and it kind of took off from there.
Was she using?
She was using. Yeah, she was an addict. Heroin and crystal meth.
And so just messing around with her, that's how.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame her. I mean, I made my own choices, but yeah, she showed me some SMI apartments, some apartments where some individuals who are SMI lived, and that I can give them little small amounts of drugs and money, and they would let me live at their house for that day. So I kind of did that, and it was hard, you know, because at this time I really didn't have any money. I was just struggling to come up with the $10 or $20 worth of drugs or cash to give them so that I can have somewhere to stay for the night. So it was like really hard, and like I said, I had experimented with opiates in the pill form, prescription pill form, and all that other stuff. So one day I just went to Stone Park and was like, hey man, give me a dime. I can't get no ecstasy, I can't get no coke, give me a dime of black tar heroin.
Mm.
And I didn't even know how to smoke it. I didn't even know how to burn it on the foil or nothing until like people had to show me how to do it. But when I smoked it, it was like, it was similar. It was pretty much the same thing as like popping the Vicodin and the Norcos and the morphine pills or Percocets. You know, it really wasn't no different. So to me, it was like all the same to me. So that was kind of like my first experience with that.
And how long did that like stay? How long did that grab hold of you?
Oh man, that progressed for the next 5 months. So from the beginning of 20 to all the way until I was arrested, and the height of my addiction progressed with it. You know, so I went from staying with the SMIs to staying in a condo with her at the U of A, just me and her. I'm selling ounces of it now. You know what I mean? I'm going to school online at Pima. I'm selling crack cocaine, and I'm working as a canvasser for Michael Bloomberg's political campaign. All while I'm addicted to black tar heroin. I remember that we would meet up at the Starbucks here at Elcon Mall, and they would give us the area that we would have to canvas for the campaign. And I would spend most of the time in the bathroom trying to smoke as much as the black I can, because I knew I had at least 4 hours before I have another chance to smoke any again, you know.
So boom, fast forward. Now you're in recovery?
Yes.
And what's that looking like for you?
It's looking good, man. I mean, it wasn't like that I wanted to do these drugs and I wanted to do it for partying reasons or anything like that. It was just really hard. I wanted to be, like I said, I was in school. I wanted to be in school. I had goals, you know, I was working for the county. So now...
What were you going to school for?
Business administration.
Business administration.
Yeah. So now that I'm in recovery, it's giving me the opportunity to do the things that I want to do, and I don't have to be out on the streets. You know what I'm saying?
What initially made you want to go to recovery? Like, how'd you fall into a rehab?
Well, during that little during my addiction, I ended up catching the case. You know, I got caught with a gun. I got caught with an ounce and a half of black tar heroin, and I went to prison for 3 years. So that was the beginning of 2020. I was just released this year, and I had did a little bit of cocaine when I was partying with some people in my apartment, and I dropped dirty for cocaine.
This is after you got out of prison?
Yeah, that's this year. Yep, when I got out of prison. So I dropped dirty for cocaine, and my parole officer found out about it, and he told me to pick a residential treatment, and this was the one that I heard would be the most beneficial.
So you were kind of forced in here. Did you feel like you were stuck, like you had no option, or?
Yeah, I definitely felt stuck, because once I knew that I dropped dirty, I stopped on the path to what I was doing. You know, I was doing like a wildland firefighter. I was doing SAGE drug treatment classes, and I just stopped everything, and I went back to the streets for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? And
right.
I knew I'm coming to rehab anyway, so I was doing cocaine. You know what I mean? I was staying at the motels on Miracle Mile.
Yeah.
I was selling crystal meth. You know, I was back in that lifestyle again. You know.
So has there been a change from feeling forced to be here to wanting to be here? Would you say?
Yeah, I think yeah, definitely a change. There's definitely a change in that, because the opportunity allowed me to like focus on the things that I need to focus on and not have that influence of drugs, trying to be a D-boy or trying to pick up drug addict women and bring them into my room
Yeah.
or anything like that. Anything like that. I did a whole semester of college there in the hotel, and I got 4 Bs, and I'm getting ready to start the fall semester here on October 3rd. And I would never been able to do that if I was living in that apartment with that girl or staying at the motels on Miracle Mile. You know, I tried it. When I was over there and I was going to Pima College Online, I did well enough just to get the student aid, and once I got that, I bought a bunch of drugs, and that was it. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
what usually happens.
So, I always see you in your phone. I always hear you talking about investing and stuff like that. I have questions about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do you want to do with your future?
I definitely want to work in. I definitely want to work in finance. I'm always going to be investing, like even if it's just through my personal portfolio. But I would like to manage money for other people. I'd like to make money in management with other people, and also I want to work a little bit in recovery. You know, since I've been here, I've got my RSS, and I've taken a couple other supplemental certifications that the trainers told me that would kind of pad my resume, and yeah, that's what I want to do. I kind of want to get a job as a trainer for other RSS. So people that are coming out of addiction and they want to be RSS, I want to be able to speak with them and train them how to be in this field. You know what I mean?
What are some of the things besides your future? What are some of the things you invest in?
Oh, okay. Right now, I'm heavily invested in biotech companies that are coming out with new technology that's really promising for.
What got you into investing?
When they put the stock market in your pocket, because before you had to be on the trading floor on Wall Street to be able to invest. And then when I heard about Robinhood years before, and I had made an account, but I never, put 2 and 2 together but I've always watched the news. I've always been into politics. I always followed current events and certain companies that I like, and I just kind of honed in on it throughout the years after that. Even when I was incarcerated. Before I was incarcerated, I started investing. I did really well while I was on drugs and I was investing. You know what I mean? I did really well, but I didn't know how to use the software. I didn't know how to use the software technically. How to do the bids and ags, how to short sell, how to marginal invest. I didn't know the terminology or anything like that. I just knew current events. I just knew that if the interest rates went down, that the cash-based business would be more choked off, and then their stock would go down. And I just knew the coming tides and things like that, but I didn't know how to actually plug that into the software. So while I was gone all of those 3 years, I kind of read up on the software, how to use the bid and ask, how to day trade, swing trade, how to read the indicators, and all of those type of things. And
You sound highly educated, bro. You sound highly educated. We just about ready to wrap this up. I have 2 questions. First question is if you had a time machine and you could talk to your future self, what would you tell them?
hold on tight, I'm coming.
Hold on tight, I'm coming. All right. And my second question is to anybody that may want to pick up that substance for their first time or be peer pressured into anything, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to absolutely do not do it, man. And even more so today, because the substance that's out there today is different than the substance that was out there when I was out there. It is straight fentanyl and xylazine. It's embalming fluid and tranquilizer and fentanyl all mixed together.
It's a death sentence.
Death sentence. It's population control. It's a death sentence. It's all of that, man. So yeah, just don't do it, man. It's not worth it. You will die if you touch that stuff out there.
And actually, I have one more question because you spoke on like not loving yourself at one point in time. How do you feel about yourself now?
Man, the more that I engage in esteemable things like going to school, going to NA, Big Book, I'm starting to love myself more, and I noticed that people are starting, like more respectable people are starting to talk, deal with me. Usually I always attracted a certain type of person, but now I see that I'm attracting like, a different type of a person, in a better way. So that is even helping me love myself even more. So it's exciting.
Any advice for anybody who may be lacking that love in self?
Just to do esteemable things, man, and have confidence. You have to do stuff that inspires confidence. Because if you ain't doing nothing, then it's gonna be hard to love yourself. Go jogging, go to AA, get into spirituality, read a self-help book. Practice your vocabulary, things like that.
That's what's up, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you sitting down with us today and having this conversation. Besides that, all my big head people out there, man, again, this is the Big Head Dude. I brought you guys another one. I hope to inspire. Man, I hope you guys get some hope out of this. I hope you guys see that addiction is real. And that, it attacks everybody and shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's not no certain breed of person, no size or shape or race of person that addiction won't touch, So, pass this to your loved ones. If anybody out there is battling with addiction, chop it up with them. Show them this video. See how it could take your life away and see how recovery could give you your life back, Besides that, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all's patience through this growing process I'm in. I'm trying to get to 1K. I need my first 1,000 subscribers, man. So please share this on your Facebook pages. Let them know what I'm trying to do. I appreciate the love. It's your boy. We out.